My hat! Alright, so we're starting off with bag 7. And bag 7, there's a little note here, but you can just ignore it, step 3. Bag 7.1 is inside of bag 7, and it just refers to the little screws that hold the pin in. So I'm going to put that aside, don't really need it. But bag 7, we're going to begin with a hub. So the hub, you have these here. Now I have already taken these off the spur and I've already cleaned these up a little. You're going to grab them both, and there's no markings on them. They appear to be the same. There's no left and right based on what I can see, or any notes that may be on here. But for the hub, one of the things is you're going to have these inserts. And these inserts, you have to choose which one you want so you can set the height. Now, for me, I'm going to go ahead and just do the zeros. And 0 and 3, so 0, 3, those do the two outer extremes, really low, really high. And then the other hub, 1 and 2, that does the center points. So this is going to sit this way. This will be the top, this will be the bottom. Now, one of the things you will notice, the little notches here, that's the side that you insert this through. So I'll go ahead and insert this. One of the things to note is make sure that you insert them the same. So if you put a 0 on one side, put a 0 on the other side. If you do a 1, do a 1, so on and so forth. So here, they're both the same. So we have those here. And the other two you can just save in case you ever want to replace them. Let's see. So now, if we have the two washers, so these here, they're blue, 2 millimeters. You're going to need 2 of those per hub, a total of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and line them up. Actually, I'll work on one at a time. We have these aluminum pieces right here. And one of the things to note is these little rounded parts, those go down. So it'll go this way. And then this will go away from the hub. And these, you can go ahead and grab them. There's actually sort of a little cut fitting in here where you can just set these. And once you set them, you can grab your 12 millimeter screws. And the 12 millimeter screws are right over here. So you do get 4 of these. And you will need your 2 millimeter driver. Just put some thread lock on here. And the reason why you're doing the thread lock is because you will be going through metal. So it's aluminum that we are screwing this into. Now, one thing that you can do is, well, do one at a time, but you can always fit this through, stick this in, and then just dab it here. So that's an option. And there it is. Right. Now I don't remember this design on the 6.1. Maybe it was the same, maybe this is one of the revisions. I think this is one of the revisions. And again, these snug, you don't want to damage the plastic, do not over tighten. If I damage the plastic, I know it's threading into aluminum, but you could actually compress this and crush it. And then it would weaken this portion here, becoming a point of a breakage point. So you grab another 2 millimeter washer. They're all 2 millimeter washers in this bag, and you grab your little ball stud, apply some thread lock compound, and this will thread to the top. So here we go. And once everything is complete, it should look like this before we put the spindle in. Now, we're not going to do the spindle. I know the picture shows one inserted, but you need to do this step first. So before we do that, let's just complete the second hub, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and place one of these, place one of the screws through, and we will do it this way. And here we go. All right. And let's see. So again, the flat side goes toward the top. And this one, I went too far for now, so let's go ahead and place this. And here we go. And just need the ball stud. Place the washer, put a little bit of threading compound. And again, a lot of these screws have machining oil, so you may want to clean them. Just a little bit of alcohol works, really. And there it is. So we have both of these are left and a right. I can't tell one apart from the other, but that's all right. Now we can go ahead and start building our shafts. Now for the shafts, you have these here, both of them, and you will be needing black grease for this. It should be 88, perfect. And you will also need these little drums here. So this is the CVA coupler. You will need both of them, and you will also need 2 pins. So we have the shaft, the coupler, the pin, and then we have the actual axle. So they're here. So one of the things to do, I'm going to use my index finger, and I'm just going to grease this up, slide this in, and I'm going to try to line it up so I can see the hole, but I covered the hole with grease. Let's see if I can find it this way. Oh, yeah, here it is. So I was able to find it. I just want to line it up, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this now that I can see it. And once I have that, I have just a little bit of grease in here as well. All right, perfect. So I just want to be able to see the hole for when I insert this. It'll make it easier for me to make these. There it is. So that is it. Then you slide it in. Everything is good. And I'll grab a little more grease for the other one. And we'll do the same thing. Now this time I didn't cover it up with grease, so it's a lot easier. And that way I don't need that other one. And here we go. And that is it. And then these here, fingers off. We will need 2 bearings. There's going to be a larger 1015 by 4, which will be this one. And this one here is going to go at the end because it's going to, this will go in here. So you can go ahead and place it in just on the shaft if you want, or you can just place them both on the hub. And what I mean by that is the small one you want to place on the hub. Now again, I'm going to put the shields toward the outside. I'll grab this. Shields toward the end. And these large ones, these are the ones I was referring to. So these here, you can place them in here and then just run the shaft. So the bearing is what actually keeps that pin in place. And you can just install this just like that. Or you could grab the bearing, slide the bearing in the axle, and you could slide this in. So it is up to you. It'd probably be better if you install the bearing, but they both work. It's up to you. That is it. So we have the axles. Now, one of the nice things about Team Associated is they do give you the aluminum hexes. So we're going to go ahead and grab these aluminum hexes. Now, you're going to have these two small little screws. Do not over tighten these. These things, you will snap the heads off. And unfortunately, I cleaned them, but I just grabbed them with these greasy, but it won't matter. I had a little bit of that black grease in my hands. But put a little bit of thread lock compound on here, and then just get this started. And there we go. So I'm not going to tighten it yet because this is a clamping hex. I just want the screw to be inside. And you'll be able to tell which side it goes in because there's that cutout in there for the head of the screw to go through. So here we go. And there's the second one. All right, good. So now you're going to notice there's two more pins. These here, these are for your wheels. And for these, there's no shims. Usually they add a little shim for you to place here, but this one doesn't have it. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here. And, oh, wrong one. Once this is here, then you can go ahead and tighten. Like I said, make it snug, do not over tighten. It's very easy to snap the heads off. There. And this should stay there. Well, you know what? It might be good enough. I don't want to over tighten this. There. There. So it doesn't come off. But like I said, be very, very careful. Those heads do snap off. But here we go. So here's the second. We'll go ahead and place this. And then once I place it in, I actually hold it from the axle. That's because I'm pulling on the axle slightly. Not too much, just slightly. And then I'm just tightening this. And again, it's feel. And then I just, all right, good. And that's it for that part. Now you're going to have these little plastic spacers. They look like washers. What's the difference? They call them spacers. But now you're going to use these pins, and the pins, each one is going to hold one of these hubs. Now, it's not important that you place it in here at this time, and the reason why is because you don't have the top link, it will fall out. But you know, I just went ahead and placed it just for fun. And one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to see if this would be, yeah, that moves freely, perfect. Now that it moves freely, I can go ahead and remove this. And actually, I didn't even have to do this step. But I can go ahead and remove this and add the spacers. So the spacers are going to determine your wheelbase. So you can have a longer or shorter wheelbase. I'm just going to go with the stock setting, so I'm going to go in the middle. And I'll place this here. And now I will place the hub. And let's see, there we go. The second one is somewhat of a challenge. That's why I'm moving the arm up and down, hoping that I can move that little shim up and down as well. Now, for this, to hold it, it calls for bag 7.1. I am really not sure what the difference is between the screws in 7.1 and the screws that were in regular bag 7 or the main bag. But the regular screws are here, and this is 7.1. And the heads are a little different, but I cannot tell if the diameters are different. So we'll see, it calls for these. These are the ones I'm going to be using. And these screws go in the back. This is just that pin does not back out. Because you're going into plastic, you do not need thread lock compound. So this will just go in there. And that is it. And again, it's a very small area really that it grabs onto to prevent that from backing out. That being said, now we can work on the other side. I'll place this here and place the truck over here on this side. Hopefully it shows better on the camera. So again, when placing this, I'm going to insert the pin and I'll insert one of the spacers. There we go. I'm going to slide this over and I'll go in here. I'm going to start sliding this here, and it's a little, part of me really wants to stick my head in here, right in here, so I can see. Then my head would be in the way. Right, maybe if I move the truck this way. Here we go. Nope. Oh, I see. I pushed the pin too far. That's why. That'll do it. Alright, perfect. So the problem is I pushed the pin too far, so I couldn't slide the spacer through. That was the issue. And I couldn't tell in the camera. That's why I had to turn the truck. Alright, so this one's going to go in here. And that's it. Just needs to be on there. But there we go. So we've completed step 3. All of this is assembled and it's in there. And on the next one, we'll move on to bag 8, which has to do with the turnbuckles. All right. Well, let's go ahead and fix that. So these little portions here, these are going to be reversed. So I'm going to go into the other video and probably put some of this on there. But let's go ahead and take this, and I'm going to check first to see if that was my mistake. It was my mistake. Not a big deal. I'll just make a note on the other video. Although by the time you see this one, you probably already saw the other one edited. So, not a big deal. And here we go. See, that's what happens when you do things late at night. That's my excuse, right? Alright, so that one already got started. Now I need this here. Which, to be honest, I should have caught long before, because how are you going to mount the wheel? Right? Should have caught that. It's not my first rodeo. And yet, here we go. I was just testing you to see if you were paying attention. All right. Here we go. And this should just snap in place. There we go, snapped in place, so that is perfect. So now I just need to switch the other side, and that is it. So I really want to show you what the final product, well, it's not the final product, but what these look like. This is why I'm switching them. Although once you see the left, you see the right. And I'll just flip this. And I'll get this one started. Once I do that, and here we go. And let's see. Here we go. All right, so now just make sure the drive shaft is in the correct place before you put the turnbuckle. If not, you're going to have to remove the turnbuckle. That's the reason why you need to check that. But other than that, that is it. So thank you so much for watching.